Rocket Launchpad. And now, here's Johnny.
Hey, it's Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction to Northwest only. Rock and roll! Libertarian Radio Show. I'm here with my co-host, Mr. Kurt Nelson. And my voice of reason, the beautiful, sexy Heather Nixon.
Bam!
Yeah, you got it.
Long distance high five over there.
Long distance high five, Heather. Anyway, so we've been talking to Jason Stapleton. He does the Jason Stapleton Program, and you can check him out at jasonstapleton.com and also at tradeandpower.com. He's a great radio host. He does his own podcast. He has a whole bunch of cool things going on. Speaking of new things coming on, Jason, by the way, thank you very much for coming on the show. Give it up for Jason!
Yeah, no doubt, man.
I'm just really excited that you guys wanted to have me on.
Oh, dude, you're great, man.
I'm really excited to be here.
I love your show. I'm kind of hooked. I've been listening to it.
Oh,
now.
you say that to all the hosts you
No,
have on.
no, I don't. You're like really, who else have we had on that's a host?
Austin Peterson.
Oh, yeah, we had Mac Worley and Austin. So just two. And Austin, every once in a while. I don't listen to him all the time. But anyway, so no, I don't say that all the time.
No, I don't. And I don't listen to Austin because he doesn't like me because I'm not 20 in a bathing suit.
And I don't even listen to our show.
He doesn't.
So.
You don't?
Kurt, it's like a big surprise. When he does hear it 3 months later, oh shit, I said that?
I said that?
I said that? What the fuck, man?
We sound pretty good.
Yeah.
Thanks for making me sound intelligent, Johnny.
Yeah, it's called editing. The magic of editing. So it's like all the ums, ahs, and it's like
I
fluid.
think you sound intelligent without editing.
Yeah,
Oh,
Kurt,
thanks,
you sound
Heather.
really
You're welcome.
intelligent.
Thanks, Johnny.
You do, man. Anyway, so Jason Stapleton has a new thing he's funding. He's working on it. This is his new baby he's working on. Let's talk about Liberty One. And what is Liberty One, and what's your plan for it, Jason?
Well, Liberty One is my effort to consolidate and bring together the best content on liberty and on free markets that is available on the web and in video and audio format, and to put that in one place where people can get at it. Now, I have bigger plans beyond that, but initially that's the way we're going to do it. It's liberty1.tv. You can go there now and sign up to be notified. And actually, if you want to watch the entire intro video that I did talking about it and what I want to do, you just go to liberty1.tv/now. And if you do that, then it'll take you to a preview video where I kind of talk about what we're doing. And there's a place for you to sign up to get notified when we launch. But I've spent the last 6 months working with assembling partners, content providers, as well as distribution. Okay. So we're going to be working on right now. I'm working on somewhere around when we launch. I'm hoping to have somewhere around 10,000 to 50,000 set-top boxes internationally. So we have the ability now to go out and get on some independent. It won't be the primaries like Dish Network or anybody like that, or Cox Cable, because we don't have that kind of street cred yet. Okay. So we're gonna have to start out small. But we will have something by the time we launch, and we've assembled, some of the very best content. The guys over at Econ Pop, Truth in Media, Ben Swan is partnering with us on this deal to help with content. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I want to be able to do is start creating more original content, more discussions, more roundtables, nice. More investigative reporting, which I think is extremely lacking in media today.
Indeed, I agree with you.
Real like John Stossel, what he used to do.
Exactly, like the John Stossel stuff that he used to do. His show is great now, but I remember when he worked for ABC and it was debunking all kinds of stuff.
Sure.
And going to Hong Kong to set up businesses and talking about how easy it was. It was just that type of stuff. And Ben Swan recently did an ISIS report on the origins of ISIS, and just a fantastic report that he put out. He did one prior to that on drugs. And I want to be doing more of that. I want to have people who are really interested in the truth out there doing that stuff, and I want to be able to fund that. Mm-hmm. Nice. And so we're in the process of laying the groundwork for that. Now, anybody who knows anything about how networks get started, Most of the time, they get started they just run, like if you, TBS, FX, if you guys remember these stations, I don't know if you remember back to when they started.
Right. They would just played MASH reruns.
Yeah, that's right. It was like Munsters 24/7, right?
Yep.
You can get the rights to those things really easily, and then you just play them over and over and over again. Well, eventually you get enough distribution where you're getting subscription dollars on that you can start creating your own individual content. And then the more individual content you get, the more people who want to watch and the more subscribers you get, and it just explodes from there. So we're doing it largely the same way. We're going to start out with an aggregate of what I think is some of the very best content that's available today in terms of liberty, both for radio and for video. And we're going to put that in one centralized location. And I'm going to try and help promote as many people as I can who have valuable content get exposure.
Do you have a timeline for this yet, or is this or is it just still kind of in infancy? Or
no, early September we will be launching. I have the distribution deals are currently in the works. I have all of the partnership and content rights stuff already worked out. The site will launch. We're waiting till September so that I can finalize all of it. Some of the stuff we've got to work out. It gets kind of difficult.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because you're like, okay, I've got the website's already built. It's the back office is already done. It's ready to launch. We just got to get all of the content uploaded. And you're like, okay, well, how do I deal with streaming content? I need a streaming content provider. We're going to have 24 hours a day, 7 days a week streaming of a channel, a literal internet channel. And there's a lot that goes into that.
A lot of technology in that, yeah.
Yeah, are we going to house the servers ourselves? Are we going to use somebody else? Am I going to hire a guy at $70,000 a year to manage those servers to make sure the channel doesn't go down? Because once you've got guys who are paying for this stuff, if some guy in Taiwan wants your channel and he's got 10,000 subscribers and he starts putting your channel out there, his subscribers need to get that thing 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And so working out all of that has been part of the process, but we have finalized all of that stuff. And now it's just simply a matter of getting the word out and letting people know, hey, this is happening. We are going to do this. And if you have content, if you're interested in coming on board and sharing what you've got, we need it. One of the things we need more badly than anything else is video content. It is incredibly difficult to get high quality video content on a regularly scheduled program.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially in the niche that we're in. So I know that you guys have the new show that's coming out soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited to have you guys be a partner with us at Liberty One and to help give you guys some exposure for the show, because we need it. And it's really hard to come by right now.
Right on. Heather, talk to us about Launchpad TV, what we're doing.
Here at Speed of Sound Studios, they are working on construction. It's moving on quite rapidly now, and soon there will be a room that will be set up with a green screen, and we will be videoing the show, which means I have to put on makeup when I come in.
Johnny, you're going to have to wear makeup too.
I know. Cover up this beard I got. I got something on my face. No, that's just my face. Never mind.
No, but we got a video guy who's a badass.
Yeah, we have Kane Martin. So basically, yeah, we're going to be running kind of like a radio show, man. And that's what we're, and yeah, I think we'd be great to do it like once a week and be our late night, Friday night. Hey, it's Johnny here. And we're going to just piss people off.
Do we have to start putting, do we have to put tape over the beer label?
I don't know. Maybe we
get an endorsement.
Endorsement. That's the way to do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's just free advertising. You don't want to do that. No. You put the tape over there and then you start hitting them up.
Yeah, there you go.
We can remove the tape for $3,000.
The tape, it's $1,000 a minute.
Perfect.
That's right.
Okay.
That's a smart way to do it.
This is why we need to partner up with you, Jason.
Yes, that makes sense. That makes absolute sense.
I'm really excited. Soon we're going to be doing the intro for A Woman's Place. We have a location. Our dear friends, the Fletchers, Billy Burns and his beautiful wife Roberta, are letting us use their vintage trailer for that intro.
Yeah.
And Billy's segments will be recorded, and so we can put a face to all this wonderful entertainment.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it because it's cool, and it's like we have good friends. We have family, kind of our Liberty family here in Washington. And they're all going to chip in. You know they will. They'll see it and they'll be like, hell yeah, let's jump on that shit and help Johnny out.
Well, and we've been talking about doing it for a long time, but actually, Jason, since you and Johnny have been talking about this, it's kind of been a cool kick in the pants for us to kind of move forward with that. We've definitely been waiting on the construction here at the studio. But that's getting close, so it's all going to time out actually just about perfectly for all of us.
No, that's good. When you start doing video, you start realizing, to do a podcast, you really just need a decent microphone and a laptop computer, and you can get by. When you start dealing with video, things get expensive really, really fast.
Really fast.
And so it's a big investment. It's something that you guys have, that anybody who's going to do it has to say, you know what, I'm gonna suck it up, and I think I got something valuable to say, and I think I can make it work. People don't recognize it, but I've been. They look at the studio that we built now, and the money that we invested in that studio is you just blow your doors off. Oh, yeah. But they don't realize that I started doing video podcasting in 2009 for my trading company, and I did that off crummy screen share off a laptop from Afghanistan. It's
wow, nice.
So it's not like I just came at this yesterday. This is a process that I've been working on for years, and it's just taken us to where we are now. And I would encourage anybody out there. Your content may not be good enough to go on the network initially, but man, just get started. Get yourself a webcam or a GoPro or something, and start putting something together and make a move. And it'll grow on its own.
Tales of Liberty. Okay, I'm making up a segment right now.
You're right.
I'm just gonna make it up.
Yeah.
All right. Would you consider yourself a minarchist?
I think so. We talking about this. Tom Woods just had a conversation with Austin.
I heard it
on his show recently, and I just listened to it. And these guys get wrapped around the axle about this stuff. I think that if you're an anarchist, what you really believe is in a series of decentralized governments. I think Austin's right about that. What I believe is I believe in pursuing maximum liberty. I number one, I like drilling things down to where they're incredibly simple to understand, because there are all kinds of unanswered questions when you start moving in that direction. And nobody knows, as Austin and Tom Woods hashed it out on their show recently, nobody really has a clear picture. Well, how you deal with this particular little incident? And that's something that eggheads like to talk about. I prefer to look at this and say, all right, I prefer a pursuit of maximum liberty. Now, what does that look like?
Yeah, let's hear your analogy.
Well, anarchy is not maximum liberty. It doesn't provide for maximum liberty, because in the same way, it ignores the primary human nature to want to coalesce in groups.
Right. Okay.
It's not like these groups formed up and nation states formed up completely against the will of everyone around them. It's like, no, when you get 2 or 3 people who are gathered together, you realize that the reason they gathered together is because there's strength in numbers.
Exactly.
And as those numbers continue to increase, there is a need, a necessity to have some sort of order and structure to that society, whether it be a small group of 10 people or 10 million people.
Okay.
And so the idea that you're going to have no government and you're just going to be free to kind of roam around and do whatever you want, number one, assumes that no one else is going to assemble themselves into a group and come after you.
Right.
And number two is it assumes that everyone is going to play by the rules. And that's not the case. And so that you are going to get the surest way to get a totalitarianism, the surest way to get tyranny
is through anarchy.
To try and set up an anarchic society.
Absolutely. It's a vacuum. So it's going to be somewhere there's going to be a vacuum that's going to be filled. And
that's right.
And I'd rather have an enemy that I know than an enemy I'm not sure of. We have the Constitution, right? And some people,
Johnny's a statist.
Okay, whatever, call me that. But what's cool about the Constitution, it does protect you. It does protect you against those other people who may try to take your shit away. By having a Constitution, you have more maximum liberty.
Well, no, and that's kind of my point, is that, if anarchy is more than likely going to produce some level of tyranny, then anarchy doesn't provide a model for maximum liberty. So what does provide a model for maximum liberty? Well, what provides for that, I think, is a limited form of government similar to what we have in our framers' Constitution. It's not exactly that way, but they made mistakes. But what we would have is a government or an overriding authority that's only job, its only responsibility is to provide for the negative rights of the people within the borders that they control.
I'm with you on that. I think that's a great point.
It would be a world without positive rights because you wouldn't be allowed to compel someone else to provide for you or to help you.
We talked about this on your show. We did.
What's that?
We talked about positive and negative rights.
Yes, we did. We talked about positive and negative rights on my show. And the only caveat I would make to that, because I don't know how you do all this stuff. So the one thing that I can't come up with is say, well, who's gonna build the roads? Well, I don't know. You could have the central government build the roads or have the overriding government. You could have multiple governments, similar to what they had in Ireland 3,000 years ago.
Sure.
There's lots of different models that you could use, and I'm happy to test case all of them. But the overriding belief system has to be one with liberty as a primary political value, which means in every decision that we make, does this move us closer to liberty or further away from it? And we should always be making decisions that move us closer to liberty. And so the one thing that I can't get over is the main goal of government would be to provide for the safety and security from external forces from coming in and ruining as close to a utopia as we could possibly create. And in order to do that, you're going to have some sort of military force in order to provide for that safety and security. And how do you fund that?
Right.
Because even if you've got a small group of, say, 5 houses, there's 10 people, and each one is married, and you got these 5 little houses, and you guys all band together and say, hey, we're going to come together for our own security and mutual self-preservation. Right. And one guy says, and these guys say, well, we need to hire a group to come and defend us and protect us. We say, well, that's fine. Let's do that. 2 houses in the middle decide they just don't want to be part of that. Right. Can't compel them to. Right. And still be within this concept of non-compulsion. Right. And so this presents some interesting scenario that I have not entirely worked out.
Well, I was looking at the Thomas Hobbes theory, though. He was talking, even though he was a big government guy, he was a huge government guy. He wrote Leviathan. If we didn't have government, we'd all die. But he did make some points. If we don't have government, we can produce things, we can steal things or other people's things, or we can spend time protecting our own things. Where if we do have a government, we can do all those things because the government can protect your individual liberties.
Yeah, and for example, if you have that neighborhood, it's whoever can afford a bigger security. So it much like the Wild West days where the, cattle barons, would hire the marshals to, run whoever out of town. It's basically who has the most money, who has the bigger guns is going to control everything. And pretty soon it's just going to, end up being a dictatorship, whoever has the most power and control.
Yeah, and that's the problem with the anarchist model is that, I am all in favor of private court systems where people have the ability to go to and select different court systems. Yep. I'm in line with Murray Rothbard on all of that stuff. To me, that is a limited government. But make no mistake, if there is a judgment arm and an enforcement arm, I don't care what you call it. It's some form of government, and an anarchist simply don't want to call it that. They're going to say, well, it's just a series of private courts, and it's a series of private security forces. Well, if they have the ability to compel you, to put you in prison, to charge you with a crime,
they will.
Then they
eventually
are a government of some kind. You're just calling it something different.
Right. And, great analogy.
And I just have a real problem with an anarchist model, but at the same time, I believe that you have a right to life and to liberty and property. And when I say that, I don't mean it's interesting because Tom brought up an interesting point. He said, when you say you have a right to life, it doesn't mean it means you have a right not to be killed. It's a negative right. It doesn't mean you can't compel someone to give you food or give you water. That's not right. So that's where we go back to this idea of negative rights. Is it's like, look, I have a right to my person, to my body, to be secure and to not be bothered, to be left alone. And I don't have the right to compel someone else to act in my interest.
Well, one of the things I think is interesting is I am all for privatizing everything. Have a free market solution, every government agency. The government cannot have a monopoly on that particular thing. So, for example, courts, fine. Have private arbitration courts. That's fine. But at least still have some government presence. Just a little bit. Constitutionally limited court system. That's cool.
I think that it will form no matter what you do. because you're at some point people are going to band themselves together. I think we have. The thing is I don't get one of the reasons I don't get wrapped around these ideas and get into these intellectual debates is not because I can't have them. I'm more than willing to have them. But the issue is we're so far away from that it's not even worth talking about at this point.
Good point.
How about this? How about we try and move just a little bit closer to the original Constitution and stop violating the Constitution every time we turn around?
I think
when we get back to that,
then we can start arguing about minarchism.
Have an argument about how we continue to move closer to maximum liberty. And this is one of my frustrations and constant. I know this is what you talked about when you spoke at the Libertarian Summit.
Absolutely.
Was the infighting. It's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
It's like a guy. If you're not willing to go all the way with me, then I'm not willing to baby step my way there with you. And this is something that progressives learned a long time ago. You read Rules for Radicals, you understand, man, these guys will take an inch.
Right.
They'll just continue to carve away at you until finally they burrow in, and this small minority of people will have this massive impact because they just will never go away. And that's what we need to have. We need to say, hey, look, they're doing something cool over there, and we don't necessarily agree with them on everything, but they moved the ball closer towards liberty, so we're going to support that.
That's okay. Yeah.
But like Saul Alinsky, that's it, the Rules for Radicals. And libertarians should take notes on that because, I mean, even though it's complete horse shit and I disagree with everything, it's effective in the sense that socialism can get together and do shit.
Look, a very small group of people in America have been able to have an incredible impact.
Squeaky wheel gets the grease, all this stuff. Yeah, you're right, man.
There is a massive amount that can be learned. If you are not studying your enemy, as Sun Tzu would say, that you're making a huge mistake. You have to be looking at what he's doing. There's no question, they've been extremely effective.
Absolutely.
You need to be studying that. You need to understand what they're doing.
And
you need to be applying the same stuff for good that they're applying for evil.
Use their techniques against them. That's exactly how you win the battle. Anyways, this is Johnny Rocket here at the Johnny Rocket Launchpad, launching ideas in your direction, Northwest only rock and roll libertarian radio show. I'm here with Kurt Nelson.
Fucking A, baby.
Voice of reason, the beautiful Heather Nixon.
Hello.
We're talking to Jason Stapleton. Check him out at jasonstapleton.com and tradeempower.com. And we're not done with you yet, brother.
You can listen to the Johnny Rocket Launchpad at Liberty Talk FM, Saturday and Sundays, 4 to 6 p.m. And don't forget, our podcast is uploaded weekly on Podbean and iTunes, and you can check out the Podbean at www.jrlp.podbean.com. And don't forget to check out our sponsor, The Haunted Heel, Texas's only retro rock and roll one-stop shop for all your vintage clothing and nostalgic gear. Check out www.hauntedheel.com. Type in Johnny Rocket for 10% off your clothing order or merchandise.
Johnny Rocket Launchpad is a radio show for liberty. Unlike commercial radio stations, we have no rich corporations or sponsors, no deep well of corporate support to help keep us on the internet. But what we have better is you. You are our primary sponsors. You provide the bulk of the funding to keep the show up to date and bringing you unique content that's not found anywhere on internet radio. So help us make the show better. If you enjoy the show, I want you to do 3 things. Go to johnnyrocketlaunchpad.com, take out your wallet, go to the upper right portion of the screen, under more, click donate, use your PayPal or your Visa, MasterCard, whatever. Donate $25, $75, or $100 to support us. It's a small amount to help us inform thousands of people. We will spread the message of liberty. After you're done doing that, go to facebook.com/JR Launchpad and give us a like, and also go to iTunes, type in Johnny Rocket and subscribe, and please feel free to give us a review. Anyways, this is Johnny Rocket. We're going to listen to A Woman's Place, and we'll be right back.